A few months ago, the people of Eee Dee Talk reached out to me and asked if I wanted to do a talk. I, surprised, very unqualified, and still in high school with no phenomenal achievements, happily obliged. I had no idea what I was getting myself into, but I would like to brag about having done a Eee Dee Talk. So I searched and searched, for about 30 minutes, for an interesting topic to discuss before coming across something interesting. Before I dump data and statistics onto your ears and bore you to death, I will give you all some context about my topic. The United States is a place where people come to seek a better life not only for themselves but also their family, especially their children. A lot of parents within the nation don't have a higher level education, if not any at all. I've wondered how that might affect their children and their potential future. And so, let us begin with the presentation.
That was an amazing speech there, Lau. Please continue.
Thanks, Obama.
Alright, it's time to get serious. I became interested in this topic after reading the book The Other Wes Moore, written by Wes Moore. To summarize the book, it is a story comprised of two young black men growing up in the streets of the United States. Despite having similar names and upbringings, they both end up in radically different places. The author ends up as a successful man, joining the military, attending Oxford, and even giving a speech before the then President Barack Obama. The other Wes Moore, whom we will call Wes number 2, drops out of high school to pursue the wonderful career of drug dealing, and ends up in prison after a jewelry heist gone wrong. At the beginning of the book, Wes number 2's mother loses her government funding for college, and was forced to work lower income jobs to support her family. I question myself that if she was able to remain in college, could Wes number 2's future have been better? Could he have stayed away from drugs and gone off to college, avoiding a fate of prison? So I researched, looking at articles and reports on whether or not the parents' level of education affects their child's future. There were a few things that I was thinking about before I researched my question. My first thought was, how should I define future? After a quick search in Google, several definitions popped up. However, there's only one that we're going to be looking at. Future is used to refer what will happen to someone or something in the time to come. Basically what I'm saying is, what kind of education and career path will the child follow in the time to come? My initial thoughts on this matter was that a higher income for parents was the sole factor to getting the child a better education. How I came to this conclusion was that a higher education for parents led to a higher level job, which provided a larger income and thus allowed a student to attend a better school system. The parents' level of education affects their child's future because the parents pass on their work ethic onto their offspring. Parents, depending on their education, may or may not make the preparations needed to set up a better future for their child, and a parent's level of income is determined by their education, which impacts their child's opportunities for growth. In a government report, they stated that the lower the level of a parent's education, college or high school, or less, the less likely it is for a student to obtain and maintain a post-high school education. What they found was that of the students whose parents had at least a bachelor's degree, 82% of them immediately went to college after graduating from high school. The percentage of college enrollment is lower for students whose parents only completed high school, with 54% of them immediately enrolling. The college enrollment percentage is even lower for students whose parents did not complete high school, with a mere 36% of that particular group of students immediately enrolling. Another study, spanning from the 1960s to the early 2000s, researched the same topic. The study interviewed students along with their parents at 4 separate intervals, which were ages 8, 19, 30, and 48 years old. In their conclusion, they stated that the parents' education affected their child's aspirations, or what the child wishes to be in the future. The government report backs this up by stating that when students whose parents had a lower education when compared to students whose parents had a bachelor's degree, the former was half as likely to aspire about getting a bachelor's degree in 10th grade, which is about 46% versus 86%. A reason as to why a parent's education has a large effect on a child is not because of the education itself, but instead the parents. Parents who went to college may possess behaviors best suited for the school environment. Traits such as determination, organization skills can be passed down to their children, resulting in the children doing better and going farther than those who lack these traits. Students who have parents with lower levels of education may find it tough to prepare for school. They tend to have lower educational expectations, be less academically prepared, and as well as receive less help from the parents in planning and preparing for college. A parent's education can determine their career opportunities. Usually, the better the education, the better the job, thus a larger income, as I stated earlier. However, a lower income can have a negative impact on a child since the parents will have to shift time and attention away from the children and towards their work. Perhaps the children may even have to take time off of school so they can support their families. A household with the capital may also be able to fund their children's tuition for college, while those who lack the funds may have to push off college for a later time. Overall, a parent's education can leave a lasting impact on their children. Although some adults may not have reached college, they can still benefit their children by teaching them important skills and being more involved in their children's academic preparations for milestones such as college. All of that out of the way, I would like to thank you guys for watching. Finally done with recording.